What the fuck is going on in the world? Well, remember those scientists who claimed to be the first people to have ever created genetically edited babies? They are now in deep doo-doo stains with the Chinese authorities and government. In other news, a bottle of whiskey sells for over $1.5 million. And finally, the world's first synthesizer watch is going to be released. You are watching The Johnny Massacre Show. How you doing, people? It is Friday in Tokyo, 11:56, barely Friday. How is your Friday going? I'm assuming at the time of watching, it's in the daytime. Why aren't you working on a Friday? I hope you're having a good one. Cyber Monday's coming up next week, so get ready to take advantage of all those online deals. Well, someone who's not going to be taking advantage of any deals on Cyber Monday is the scientist, I believe his name is Hey, who's one of the co-creators of the first genetically edited babies. When this news came out, it was rebuffed by a few skeptical news outlets who said it's probably bollocks, but China seems to be cracking down on this guy now. They're really pissed off. They've disowned him. He's going to lose his job. And you've got to fear for this guy because there's an artist called Ai Weiwei. I think he co-designed the famous Bird's Nest Stadium, a beautiful stadium in China that was created for the Olympic Games. That guy was under the baleful gaze of Sauron, aka the Chinese government, and they gave this guy hell. If you look it up on YouTube, Ai Weiwei, AI space WEI, he's just an artist, right? That is the telltale sign of an authoritarian government that gets pissed off when you start drawing pictures and being creative, because it could brainwash the masses who are already brainwashed. And so if the Chinese government went well hard on this guy called Ai Weiwei, check it out, they absolutely screwed him. He had to flee the country and was beaten to within an inch of his life. He nearly died from the beatings from the Chinese government. Imagine what kind of shit this guy is in, a scientist who's created genetically edited babies, which could have really serious ethical consequences. Take a good look at this guy, because you're not going to be seeing any new pictures of him for a while, I guess. The co-inventor who slammed the Chinese... CRISPR co-inventor slams Chinese scientist behind world's first gene-edited babies. Oh, so this isn't the guy who invented it. This is some guy slamming the guy who invented it. But anyways, I'm dragging you into the fiery pits of Mordor known as CNN. You'll only have to bear the heat for a few minutes. Here we go. China has suspended the research activities of the scientists who claim to have created the world's first gene-edited babies, says CNN, and also state-run Chinese news. The move comes after Chinese scientist He Jiankui announced Monday that two ostensibly healthy twin girls had been born this month from embryos altered to make them resistant to HIV. Imagine being the dad of those girls. When they reach the age of 16 or 18, depending on what country they're in, dad's going to be like, you know what? Just go out and bang as many hairy weirdos as you want, because you're not going to get HIV and you're not going to die from it anyways. But then again, you could still get gonorrhea, darling. So that's probably still going to motivate them to be safe. The news article continues. Chinese authorities called He's claim extremely abominable in nature and a violation of Chinese law, according to Xinhua, which is the news agency. State-run news agency, I might add. The gene-edited twins matter, reported by the media, has brazenly violated Chinese laws and regulations and breached the science ethics bottom line, which is both shocking and unacceptable. You don't want to have a communist government saying that your behavior is unacceptable. This guy is in deep shit, Mr. He. I'm telling you. He, an associate professor at the Southern University of Science and Tech in Shenzhen, claims to have used a gene editing tool known as CRISPR Cas9, which can insert or deactivate certain genes. CRISPR has been hailed as an innovation with tremendous potential, but many in the scientific community believe the technology is still experimental and not ready for human application. So that's funny, because the co-inventor then has apparently slammed the guy who's using his own technology to create gene-edited babies. Maybe he's jealous, that guy up there, or maybe his device has kind of been taken into the wrong hands. This kind of reads like a script to a superhero movie, doesn't it? Like someone invents this powerful thing and there's serious moral and ethical implications, so we're told not to use it. But one scientist, desperate to have his name splashed all over the papers, gets a bit ahead of himself and activates it before anyone else, and then everyone condemns it. And the Chinese government are saying, no, nothing to see here. This should never have happened. But they're these mutated babies who are going to be walking around, presumably in a lab with triple glazing, and they're going to smash out and kind of take over the world in some weird sci-fi horror movie. Anyways, that's going on. So you probably heard this news recently about this Chinese scientist who's claimed to have created these gene-edited babies, and now you're probably never going to hear from him again. This probably confirms that this news is true. A couple of news outlets tried to rebuff it. They were skeptical about the claims, but if the Chinese government are coming out publicly, the state-run news agency, and condemning this guy, and not even saying it's not true, I think we can assume this is true. So there are actually some gene-edited babies out there who are never going to get HIV. On to other news today. A bottle of whiskey is sold for a lot of fucking money. You want to see what that shit looks like? Be my guest. Here it is. The Macallan, 60 years old. I give to you, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Yeah, that bottle kind of looks like a university art project. But fuck it. You know, it's all about the content, right? The world's most expensive bottle of whiskey is sold for £1.2 million, says CNN again. At Christie's in London, very famous auction house, is Christie's. My grandmother was a famous actress. She sold loads of her shit in Christie's. The vintage spirit, which came in a unique bottle painted by Irish artist Michael Dillon, smashed a record set last month when a bottle of the same 1926 vintage sold at Bonhams in Edinburgh for more than £848,000. That's $1.1 million. And that sale exceeded another record set just a few months earlier at Bonhams in Hong Kong by more than £30,000. The Macallan 1926 6-year-old was bottled in 1986. That's a lot of numbers in one sentence. Having spent 6 decades maturing in ex-sherry casks at the Macallan distillery near the River Spey in northeast Scotland. The River Spey being one particular river that no cat or dog ever wants to fall into. The article continues. 3 artists were asked to design a label for the vintage. Peter Blake. Do you know who Peter Blake is? He's the guy best known for designing the cover of Beatles' Sgt. Pepper album, as well as Italian painter Valerio Adami and Dylan. So this is a video showing the previous records that sold for 1.1 million before we got the 1.53 million that this article shows you in a picture. Let's have a little look at this video, shall we? So it's sold in Edinburgh, Scotland. Scotland being the home of good, tasty, single malt Scotch. And here you can see the auction going on. And yeah, typical auction scenes here, not very exciting. But yeah, look at the bottle for this shit. I mean, come on, man. If it costs £1 million, don't do a knockoff Picasso. Give me some kind of, I don't know. Give me something Scottish. Give me something a bit more, just anything other than that cover. Or this cover, actually, which is supposedly designed by some incredible artist. Look, there's too much black on that bottle. He's just totally winged it. He's written in gold pen, the Macallan, the name of the whiskey, and then he's done a tiny little doodle up top. Let's be honest, if you didn't know this was a $1.5 million bottle of whiskey, you really would think that's a pretty average design. Anyways, enough whiskey-related news. Random bit of news I didn't mention on the intro, very quickly. There is a fucking plane with a great white shark design. So if you have attention deficit disorder, let me lead you down the garden path. This random news. Look at this. Isn't that fucking awesome? Great white sharks. I love great white sharks. I don't like flying. I'm kind of afraid of flying. So ironically, one of the most terrifying creatures in the world being emblazoned all over a plane would kind of actually motivate me to get on the plane and maybe be a little bit less scared just because I love sharks in general. Isn't that a fucking amazing plane? Right, now, onto the musical news today, I guess you could call it. Someone has released a synth watch. Have a look at this, right? I don't know what to think of this. I don't know what to fucking think of this. Let's play the video, shall we? You're going to see a guy playing on the watch right now. A very rudimentary synthesizer pattern.
For iOS and Android users. Solid titanium.
But that's pretty much it, and then this guy's just chatting for nearly forever. So I'm going to turn the sound off so it doesn't kind of interrupt you. And yeah, this is basically a fucking 3-minute, 20-second video of a guy doing a Kickstarter appealing for money to create this watch. And you don't see a whole lot of the watch, and you don't really see it in action. You can see it there. It looks weird. It's very retro because it's got that digital display, and the keys almost look like a toy. It hardly even looks real. And apparently it comes in more than 200 sounds, and it also does have a drum kit. I have seen a demo of it where someone is kind of playing the drums and stuff. This article is on musicradar.com, and they say, as the name suggests, it's a synth in a watch. In fact, it's billed as the world's first wristwatch synthesizer, a claim we're not going to contest. Remarkably, it houses a mini musical keyboard. Despite their tiny size, the keys are said to be designed for every finger size. Bullshit. Of course, this being a watch, the device can tell the time as well. A retro-looking digital display sits above the keyboard. So here's the interesting facts. Whether the synth watch will capture the mood of the music making times remains to be seen, but we've got a certain admiration for the fact that its creators have put 2 years of work into creating it. That's really not a long time for a tech product. But anyways, they're currently seeking financial help on Kickstarter, where a pledge of €450 will secure you a synth watch in April 2019, providing the $67,382 funding target is reached. That is, we'll be watching the total as the clock ticks down. So the promo video these dudes have made for this watch is quite a lot of money. It almost makes me think that they're spending the Kickstarter money on these promo videos, which I guess is okay because you need some kind of ad budget. But I think anyone who does the Kickstarter doesn't want the money going on ads. They just want their fucking watch. So yeah, if you watch the official video for this, there's a lot of there's models and shit modeling the watch and trying to look beautiful and stuff and walking around, and the production values are not too bad at all. I just want to show you the watch in someone's hand. I actually kind of like the way this looks, maybe because I'm a music producer. Other people are going to think it's fucking ugly. Look, okay, on this guy's hand, look at this shit. What do you think of that? So for me, it's more like a fashion statement, if anything. One of those fashion statements that really tells people who don't know you actually a lot about you. If I wore this, people might think, oh, he's into his music. He's a music producer. And that, I guess, makes me happy in a vain sort of way. But the interesting thing are the comments on this video. So people are kind of slating this, actually. Let's read some of these comments because they're quite amusing. For the world's first synth watch by Audio World. So it's got 21 thumbs down and 18 thumbs up. But before we judge it, let's have a look at the comments for ourselves. So 2 years for that? What a waste of time, dudes, says Borny Hitch. Ha ha, nice play on words. Great Wall of Norman says, April Fools came early this year. May imagine that, 2 years of work and people pissing all over your work. I don't think they're trying to scam anyone. I think they're just well into their tech. So it's a bit harsh, but there you go. This is the first and maybe the last one. What a joke, says Beku Beku. When people give up desktop computers, this is what the future looks like. It's awful. Get a desktop. Makes the music so much easier with more options and more control, says Norin Rad 22. Costin Penders says, nice idea, but it's fucking ugly and, and huge. Would like to get one if it was looking nice. That's harsh. It looks fucking ugly. If it didn't look ugly, I might buy one. Sega Fork makes a great point. He says, when they spend 5 seconds showing it in use, you know something is not right. That's in ratio to the 3.5 minute song. Another guy, Andrew Stapp, says, this video looks like it was produced by The Onion. So everyone fucking hates this thing. Everyone absolutely hates this wristwatch. Am I the only person who think this looks kind of cool? Is it just me? Have a look one more time at this bird wearing it on her hand. I think it looks pretty good here. Okay, here she is going up. There, look. It's so eye-catching. It's like the most eye-catching watch. The thing is, it looks like a fucking toy. And let's be honest, no one's going to make serious music on this thing. So why not just make a kind of plastic watch that looks like a piano for like $10 fucking and sell it in downtown Tokyo? That'll go down a storm. I mean, I don't think there's anything else like this, because if you search for piano watch, all you get is aesthetic designs of watches with piano faces. There is no watch you can actually play like a piano. This one's quite nice. It has well, it's actually not nice, but I like the way they've put the piano on the strap and illustrated it. So this is the other kind of tech. There's something like this already, actually. It's not the first one. There's already one by Matrix Synth. So there you go. That's already debunked as fake news. It's not the world's first synth watch. But yeah, what to say about that? It caught my eye. That's all I have to say about it. So yeah, that's about it for the kind of random news for today. There's some other fucking news kicking around, but I'm going to spare you. And I'd rather talk about myself. Fucking knackered, people. It's like midnight now. So I'm going to get some shut-eye. The eagle-eyed of you out there may have noticed that today we're going into a different chain today. My voice might sound slightly different. I'm using the Empirical Labs Distressor. This is very high fidelity, very clean. And I think it sounds great. How do you find my voice today? You like it? I've been doing some business bollocks and just moving around like a madman. I'm eating far too many calories. I've got to the point where I do such heavy exercise that I have to take a 1 or 2 day break afterwards, and I'm eating so much food then it's almost counterproductive. So I've got to get my exercise and diet in check. My baby's going to go for repair in California tomorrow, so that's being picked up by FedEx. That reminds me, I've got to box this motherfucker and print out myriad shipping labels to give to the person who's going to take it away. But I'm quite excited about that. And if they can't fix it, I'm probably going to buy the mastering version, which means, well, that costs like $8,000. I don't really want to shell out on that, but yeah, the mastering version would be nice. And other than that, I went to one of my business partners' parents' farm yesterday, because I've got loads of shit in storage out there. His lovely parents allowed me to store a shitload of stuff on their farmland. So I went and picked it up, stuck it in a delivery van, moved it around Tokyo, did my thing. And mate, storing your shit in old Japanese apartments can bring the mold. It's known as cabbie. Once the fucking cabbie, the mold, gets into your shit, you're fucked. Japan is like notoriously humid in the summer, and just generally the conditions are ripe for mold to fester, grow on your items if you stick it in some old place with the tatami floors and shit. So some of the stuff I had in storage already had mold on it, but I saved it in the nick of time. I'm gonna have to head down the next week to save my other items. And yeah, that's about it really. That's it for today, people. I'm not gonna be here tomorrow or on Sunday because I don't do the Johnny Massacre show on weekends, but it's been a good week. Sometimes it's difficult to make the show when you're not in the mood for it. Other times it's a breeze, but always I feel good after doing it. So thank you for just giving me such a fun thing in my life, a nice commitment. I always enjoy making the show and I love hearing from you. So make sure to leave your comments below if you've got anything you want to chat about. Always good to hear from you. And that's about it for today. So I'm Johnny Massacre and you've been witnessing the Johnny Massacre Show.